Have you ever woken up with a weird symptom like an itchy eye, a lump on your neck, or like your arms falling off? Well, with ZocDoc, you ain't got to worry about that, girl. ZocDoc is everything. They are a free app helping you secure your health, wealth, and well-being. So stop putting off those pesky doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Monet to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Monet. ZocDoc.com/Monet. Monét Talks. Hello, it's me, Monet, and listen, before we start the episode, I want to alert you on some things happening with me, okay? I have some new stand-up dates coming around the U.S., okay? Here's where we are. We're going to Austin on March 6th and 7th, Indianapolis, March 8th and 9th, Spokane, Washington, April 18th and 19th, Oklahoma City, the 25th and 26th, Sacramento, May 2nd and May 3rd, Raleigh, May 24th, May 25th, and Rochester, New York. I've never been to Rochester, my first time, on June 12th and 14th. So if you want to come see me across the U.S., now's your chance. Go to MonetXChange.com to get your tickets, and I will see you doing some brand new, never before seen. I just wrote some bits about some analingus and Starbucks being white woman culture, and it's going to be a good time. So come see me do some new material, some raw material this spring and summer.
Do you know how long it took me to realize Monét Talks was a pun and not just you saying what you do? I seriously was like, wow, she's really just saying what she does.
Monét Talks. Everybody come sit down, let's have a chat. Monét Talks. Living life gossip, chop it up, this or that. Monét Talks. Get comfortable, cause you on the show. Monét Talks. We just wanna know where you been, who you been with. Monét Talks.
Woo! Monét Talks listeners. Yeah, you know, I don't want to say that I had the best guest, but I do have the best guest, and y'all are about to have a trick, a treat, and a joy, because the terminally delightful BenDeLaCreme is in the house.
Oh my God, best? How are we defining best? I mean, I'll take it. Well, you're the best host.
Thank you. I have to tell you something I am so jealous of, because I am a balding black man. You have the most beautiful head of hair. Thick, luscious hair.
Well, thank you. Listen, there are a lot of genetics I could do without. This is the one that I'm like, all right, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Is it the whole family?
Well, I mean, everybody on my dad's side, like my dad is like in his 70s and has a full head of silver hair.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Girl, I started losing at 22, 23. It was withering away, girl. Wuthering Heights over here.
Wait, I actually always want to ask you, do you shave every day? Because I've like never seen you with stubble.
I shave not every day. At least if I'm home. I mean, I have like a 4 week break, so I'm about to have a beard.
Yeah.
But when it gets to like the 2 week mark, it starts to get a little irritated.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, I'm hooking up with this guy who doesn't like he doesn't like facial hair. So I end up saving a lot.
Like visually, or it's like a textural sandpaper.
I think a textural
vibe.
thing. Because also, I mean, when I was 19, I went to this club, Escolita, in New York City, and I was making out with this guy that had stubble. And when I tell you the next day, my face was just scratched up. Making out with someone with stubble is horrible.
You build up calluses, I think, eventually, right? You know, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I used to notice it more. And I've been with people, like I get stubbly really fast and my stubble is coarse. I hate shaving when I'm not in drag. Like I am like, if I'm not doing drag, like I don't want
How far do you go? Like, are we getting like mountain man? Like, do you go like, I've never seen you with that much.
I grew out a beard during the pandemic, like a full beard, but no, but I like within a few days, I have some pretty significant like facial hair growth. But I, a long time ago, dated a guy who was like actually into how rough it was. Like it was
really?
like, I mean, I don't know whether it was maybe like partially a kink thing, but it was like the roughness was actually something he was into.
Interesting.
So,
I mean, it's not feeling rough. You know, if someone is doing a rim situation on you, that doesn't feel good either. You are scratching. You are exfoliating down there, which is not great.
I mean, some people are into it.
You know, there's a kink for every coven.
It's true. It's true. And isn't that a beautiful thing?
I feel like Have you ever snuck into a club, Dela, when you were in your
like underage?
Yeah, underage.
Like, I never had a fake ID, but when I was living in Boston, there were a lot of like 18 and over clubs where it was like you would just go in and like go to the bathroom and like, if it was a stamp, you'd lick your friend's wrist and like
to get it
transfer it.
Oh, to transfer it onto you.
Or if you had like a Sharpie X, you would like scrub it up, whatever. So, yeah.
Well, you're also from Connecticut. It's so hard for me to reconcile that you're from Connecticut because you're so much cooler than Connecticut.
Thank you. I agree.
And because, of all the states, New Jersey is close second. Connecticut is just not a great state.
New Jersey is so much cooler than Connecticut.
Than Connecticut?
I mean, like, New Jersey is like the bad kid, like smoking in the bathroom stall to Connecticut's like hall monitor.
Wait, where in Connecticut though?
is Bobby Brady to there's no bad.
Bobby was the middle one?
Bobby's the little one.
The little one.
Who he was like a safety patrol officer.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I was obsessed with the Brady Bunch movie growing up.
I mean, clearly, I feel like I can see some of those.
I mean, Christine Taylor's Marsha Brady definitely was a huge influence on Dela, like developing that
Really?
character. Oh, yeah. Like you can hear it in part, like it's part of the vocal influence. It's like her, Amy Sedaris, Varla Jean Merman. It's like those kind of all combined. Like there's a lot of Jerry Blank in there. There's a lot of that Marsha Brady. In the holiday show, Dela always says snew instead of snow, which is fully just Marsha Brady's skewel, which is the only word she says, strangely. Anyway.
I was like yesterday as well when I realized Ben Stiller is married to Marsha Brady.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what? They're married? And then they separated for a while, but now they're back together.
Oh, I didn't realize they separated.
Yes, they separated for a couple years.
Well, I'm so glad because I love her. Did you ever watch, did you grow up watching Hey Dude?
No, what's Hey Dude?
Hey Dude was a Nickelodeon show. I forget how much younger
I am 35 currently.
Oh, okay. So it was like, I was like very young. It was a Nickelodeon show that was like, felt very adult for me when I was 5 or I don't know how old I was, but it was on a dude ranch, and like I'm sure the actors were like 19, but to me they felt like really like 30. Cool, sexy adults.
Interesting. And wait, what is the premise of Hey Dude? They're on a ranch and
they work on a dude ranch and they.
What's a dude ranch? Is it a ranch just for guys?
No, but that sounds hot. But no, no, because Christine Taylor was there.
Oh, right. She was there. Right.
I don't know. It's just I don't.
See, my only recollection of her is yes, when I would see reruns of the Brady Bunch, but also for her from Zoolander. And then now I'm figuring out that they were married. Yeah. When I see couples who are real life couples playing couples on film, it always brings joy to my heart because I'm like, I know that was like a Nepo move. Not a Nepo. What's not Nepo? What's the thing when you wanna Nepo is like your kid, but what's when you have someone who you know doing a role just because you know them?
Oh, I think that's still nepotism, right?
Yeah, nepotism. Okay, yeah. I know it's probably a Nepo situation, and you know what? I'm all for nepotism in some regards.
Sure.
Then drag, like I
don't have a strong opinion about
like
it.
When if I get asked to do a thing like in drag and I get to choose what I want to do, I always say like my friends, right? I would say like Bob, Jinx, like I would say people I know I have good rapport that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so. I mean everything I do, I've been like really building, like whenever people are asking about like production or direction or doing that sort of thing, my like number one recommendation is like find the people who are good at their jobs who you like working with and cultivate that relationship and hold on to it. Make sure they know they're appreciated, make sure they know they're important to you, because that like building of and it's like the queer experience of building chosen family is not dissimilar from like building a company or the people or the inner circle of people that you like to work with. Yeah. So I guess like, is chosen family nepotism? I don't know. Then guilty,
Yeah, for sure. Well, is that why you started your production company? Because you're like, I want to start, because you were sick and tired of trusting people who couldn't do the right job.
Yeah, I mean, basically I started the company in 2007. Is that no?
2007?
No, 2017. I just skipped a decade. I skipped a whole decade. This is what happened. I actually whatever. You get older and the time changes.
2007. I was like, wait.
No, 2017.
Okay, when did you start drag? 2009. Wait, no, you saw, how long before drag did you start drag?
Well, I mean, I was like the kid doing drag.
Okay,
I dressed in drag in high school.
Work.
Like back in the 90s.
For a show or just going to math class?
No, so I was the president of my GSA at my school.
The Gay Students Alliance?
Yes.
Why is it all, can we think of some new, or persons, can we think of some new acronyms? Why every school had a GSA. We could come up with something different. Now it's probably the QSA now.
Well, I mean, this was the 90s. It was like kind of even a new idea.
True.
So, but I would like throw dances and like socials that were like for my school and other schools to sort of like for queer students to intermingle, and I always hosted them in drag.
Word.
And then I did like a drag cabaret my senior year of high school.
Your senior year?
Yeah.
Wow, that is so the initiative work.
Well, it was just, I don't know. I have always, I mean, we've talked about this. I feel like drag for me lives between an artistic practice and an identity. Like I really like identify as a drag queen, you know? It feels like deep in my bones.
I feel like that too. I feel like I really identify to be a drag queen.
Yeah.
I love that. Recently on Last Culturistas podcast with Bone Yang and Matt Rogers, they had Gaga on, and they asked her, like, do you feel like a drag queen? And she's like, she was like, I think some aspects of I do dabble in drag, but she's like, there's so much about that art form that is so unique and I would be doing a disservice to the art form and like bastardizing it by calling myself a drag queen, because it is. I'm like, you know what? Thank you for that, because a lot of these fucking celebrities out here like, yeah, I am a drag queen. I'm like, you're not though.
Yeah.
Just because you went on a fucking lip sync show and someone put some hair and makeup on you, you did a lip sync song. You're not a fucking drag queen.
And it is that thing where it's like, I'm not going to like police anybody's defining of their own, but I mean, I will in private. I'll talk to you about it off camera. But the reality is, it's like, where does that begin and end, right? When we start deciding that we decide for other people.
True.
But, I do feel like the tradition of drag that I belong to feels like it comes from a time, like I started doing drag when it was Drag Race did not exist, and you had to do drag because, like, despite the fact that you would never be rich, you would never be famous, and you would never get laid, and that was like that was the reality of drag before the Drag Race boom, and you had to like knead it so deep in your bones that you would do it anyway. And so to me, I feel like I can like smell that on someone versus when it's sort of something that is like kind of easier to do now, or like a way to like, there are some queens that you're like, okay, this is your way into being a public figure. Yeah. And that is, I guess, a legit way, like as any, but it feels very different to me.
Yeah, agreed. And I cannot. Yes, 1,000,000%. Like, yes, I started drag after Drag Race. That's because that's when I discovered it was high school, right? College for me.
Totally.
And then but I started doing drag in the city of New York. I was like, I didn't care about getting on TV. Drag literally was my lifeline to discovering my gender identity and how I move in this world. So if I never, ever fucking got on Drag Race, I would still be doing it 7 shows a week in New York City because it was my lifeline. I loved it.
And that's the thing, is like, the beautiful thing about Drag Race is that it brought drag to so many people. It made it more accessible. Like, I was very lucky being a little queer kid in Connecticut. I was never out because I was just, everybody was calling.
Even doing the drag shows, you weren't out.
Oh wait! Oh my God! I was never in a closet. What?
Okay, I was like,
I need coffee, Monet.
I was like, wait, you were in drag shows coming to school.
I'm still not out. I've never publicly said I was queer. No, I was never in a closet because I was just like, whatever. It was just not an option. I was like too queer in my small town.
Word.
I never knew any other queer people, and it was God, I'm trying to figure out. It was, I mean, like RuPaul honestly being like, it was like I saw her on an MTV red carpet or something. And I was like, what's happening there? And then at some point I saw the Wigstock documentary. But that was like kind of by, it was like I had to get my hands on a VHS. Yeah. And so the cool thing about Drag Race. Yeah, all right. The cool thing about Drag Race is that, like, yeah, it gives all these people who, right, like when I found drag, I wasn't like, oh, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I was like, oh, there's a container for the thing that I already am. Right. And Drag Race allows more people to have that experience, like what you're describing, right? Yeah. And I think that when the Drag Race boom ends, right? Like it's always cyclical with drag, as it is with anything. Like at some point, the public interest will wane. We don't know what the hell is happening politically in the next chunk of time. But there are going to be the drag queens who are like, okay, that's not my, like, I'm going to move on to something else. Yeah. And there are going to be those of us who are like, I'm going to die in heels.
100%. I mean, the only thing about my drag career that I'm not looking forward to, because I know it's going to happen, is at one point I will need either a knee replacement or a double hip replacement. Because, girl, it's already like I know it's going to happen. I'm just not looking forward to that. That's the only thing about drag I'm really scared of.
I am like, I already am due for a hip replacement, but they're like, you're too young, but you have like the hip of somebody twice your age. I have no cartilage in my left hip.
The fucking heels. It's the heels, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you've been doing it since high school.
I know.
Where did you find shoes in high school? Or were you in like some little?
It was. I was in like thrift store heels. Yeah. I only wear a women's 11. So
girl, I'm a women's 14. Dela.
I don't know whose fault is that.
My daddy. So we can't obviously we're talking about Drag Race, girl. This is no secret to anyone who is a Drag Race fan or Drag Race watcher. You have had one of the most dominating ever fucking performances on the show. It is just what it is. It is the cold hard facts. Looking back, are you happy with it? Are you happy with how you performed on the show?
Oh, fuck yeah.
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 I mean, I'm super proud of All Star. I'm proud of both seasons. Season 6 was, I think I had a really good showing, but the All Stars run was just, I felt like I went in.
I made everything your bitch.
I just had a really clear idea of what it was I wanted to get across to the audience, right? Like, I think part of the cool thing about an All Stars is that you do a Drag Race season, you know what it is to do it, so you have more knowledge going in, but you also then have like a whole career trajectory, and it's like this launching pad, and sometimes it's hard to steer the first time, but then if you have an opportunity to go in All Stars, then you're like, oh, I know exactly where I need to direct people's attention now because I already did it once with less information, and so I went in the first time I went in being like, there's nobody who has like a distinct character who sticks their character on the show. So I have to establish that because this is the character I play on stage. So people have to know who Dela is by the time I'm like done with this season. So I did that on season 6. And then on All Stars, I was like, okay, now I have to show everybody the like diverse range of skills I have. Right. And I was very intentional about like, I'm going to play very like characters that are totally different from each other to show people that I also have this skill set,
So fucking good. I mean, I never asked you this. How did your brain conceptualize the fucking bug runway? Because that was when people like, I have never heard you talk about it. I've been always curious. How did that come about? That fucking bug.
So it was literally something I already had because, So I used to be part of a burlesque troupe in Seattle, the Atomic Bombshells, and we did a bunch of themed shows. And one of them was Lost in Space. And it's like, it was all very like vintagey stuff. So there was like my friend Jamie Von Stratton, who's also the costumer who made the bug outfit, did like an incredible Barbarella act. Anyway, I was like, okay, I want to do sort of that old-fashioned sci-fi, like bug lady from Planet X thing.
Yeah.
So it was actually, that whole thing comes apart. It was like an exoskeleton that I like shed on stage. And so it was literally like, they were like, it's an animal runway. And I was like, great, I got that.
Well, I remember when the promo, because I mean, also, not to toot your horn anymore,
Please.
but season 6, I mean, that fucking the trailer for y'all season with y'all.
Oh my God.
It has never been that good.
Well, I actually think the All-Stars 3 one was amazing. That was David LaChapelle did the All-Stars 3
I mean, that was
one.
good, but I still think this season 6 is superior.
I think the season 6 one is the best one ever, but I also sort of do feel like I got like two
really good
two
ones.
of the good ones.
Yeah. Like this Bianca tearing the page out the thing, Milk and the thing of drinking the milk. It was just all so good.
Yeah.
But I remember when the trailer dropped, I was hosting Drag Race at bars, and when the night when they released the one of like there's a season, I forgot what that one is called. The one where you see clips from the show, whatever it's called. It's something trailer, not the promo trailer, something. Anyway, and then when because they show a peek of you coming, everyone's like, I will never forget, the entire bar was like, whoa! It was something we hadn't seen on the show, like someone like making themselves look a completely different way. It was really cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, girl, fierce. And obviously you got really sick of the manufactured drama and all that shit from All-Stars 3. You were just fucking over it. It's not what you signed up for. Looking back, 7 years now? 7 years.
Which is season 6 feels like 20 decades ago. All-Stars 3 feels like yesterday.
For all of us too. Do you, like, looking back, are you happy that you left?
Yeah. I mean, you never know what the other sliding door situation is going to be. But I really do feel like it was it was an empowering personal move,
girl, because
I honestly did feel really like I felt trapped, and frankly, like the situation was like, it's a situation in which there's people in power and they want to be in control of the choices you make and the direction you go in. And honestly, it's just a huge personal thing to realize nobody gets to do that to you, and to go in and be able to have the showing that I had, which I didn't expect, but it was like once it was happening and I kind of realized like, oh, the power is actually in my hands here. And yeah, it was like, I've done the showing, and I know that, to a lot of people, the most important thing about Drag Race is like getting the crown. But like I've always maintained, like the most important thing about Drag Race is showing people who you are and what you're capable of, so that they want to buy tickets to stuff later.
That's literally what it's about.
And I did that.
That's what it is about, girl. Like people, like Drag Race, honestly, it can serve as the biggest infomercial for you.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just a big ass commercial for what you can do and how you can get people to butts in your seats.
Yep.
If you're about that, I mean, I guess some girls are really just going to show to just do fashion, which is also valid.
Yeah.
But if you are trying to sell tickets to a club, to a show, like you gotta market yourself on the season.
Yeah. It's really like what you're looking to do next.
Yeah. Like what is the next thing for you?
Monét Talks.
Okay, I know you've experienced this. You don't go to a dentist and you're sitting there minding your business. They're pulling out cavities, doing root canals, whatever they need to do. But they're also trying to have a full conversation with you. Hello? I can't speak. Your hand's in my mouth. Now I feel awkward and I feel like I have to respond. I'm biting it. It's too much. That's where ZocDoc comes in. ZocDoc is a free app that helps you find great doctors in your area, and you can compare high quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. ZocDoc is really that girl. I've been using her for a very, very long time, for a few years now, and I love most about ZocDoc as a patient reviews, because you find other people like you and me who are up in these streets telling you, oh yeah, I went to a doctor blah 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 and he had bad bedside manner, I waited too long in the waiting room and I was annoyed, and then like, you know what, noted, I'm not going there. But you see great ones like, ooh, this doctor was amazing. He saw me right away and he gave me all the medicines to fix my problems. That's what you want. So stop putting off those pesky and annoying doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Monet to find and instantly book top-rated doctors today. ZocDoc.com/Monet. ZocDoc.com/Monet.
Monét Talks.
I feel like we're in a Snatch Game depression on the show.
Oh my God, Monet. I feel like like, I don't even care that much about, like, certain aspects of the show, but, like, I feel personally offended by this last Snatch Game. Like, I feel... I don't even... I am still having, like, a visceral reaction to that episode.
Yeah, it's pretty tough these days. I think... and people say, oh, because they're young. I mean, young doesn't have anything to do with it. Like, your age. I mean, yes, maybe because of referencing, but your age doesn't have anything to do with your ability to play a character and do, like, age is not a thing. So I don't know what it is, to be honest. I don't know what it is. Like, are we just not getting actors anymore in comedic? I don't know.
I honestly think that part of it is that they just, it's like the show is always wants to make it look like someone at least did all right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what is the incentive to do better when somebody mediocre always still wins, right? Like, I'm like, stop letting anyone win that episode. Send half of them home. Like, it is like, there is no encouragement. And honestly, if somebody goes in there, like, if I went in swinging for a Snatch Game on a season like that, what would I even get to do? What do you have to work off of? It doesn't even set somebody up well who's, like, bringing it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there was just one, you have some 25-year-old kid scrap their way. They auditioned 7 times. They finally got on the show. They're doing dragons, and they get to talk to you for 1 second. They're like, BenDeLaCreme, can I please have one tip? What would be your one golden tip to do well in Snatch Game, since you body both of yours?
I think it would be, you can prepare some bits and one-liners. That's great to have those tucked away, but they shouldn't be your go-to, and you shouldn't be looking for where to cram them in. They're just little things you have in your back pocket. But what you need is to know your character inside and out, like, that you are referencing, but more importantly, the character that you're creating. Like, what is your character's perspective? If you don't fully understand how your character reacts generally to things, you're not going to be able to improv and interject. And Snatch Game is all about interjecting. Your answers, sure, but all of the zingiest one-liners, we originated the language, was fully just like, that was me instantly responding to a dumb thing Trinity said, because I just, like, knew my take on that character well, and that's it. You just have to, and you have to spend time with it. Like, it's not just gonna, like, happen. I drilled those characters, you know.
Work. Like going out to lunch with friends and as Maggie Smith.
Oh, I literally, while we were, you know, because you're, like, trapped in the hotel and you're bored to tears, I would literally, like, think of, like, I would, like, watch TV in the hotel room and, like, be like, how would Maggie Smith respond to this moment? Work. Like, it was like that kind of exercise.
Work, BenDeLaCreme. That's so fucking see, y'all just got a literally a 2-minute masterclass on how to do well in Snatch Game.
Okay, so I better see the next season really step it up, or we'll all know that you don't listen to Monet Talks.
Exactly.
Do you know how long it took me to realize Monet Talks was a pun and not just you saying what you do? I seriously was like, wow, she's really just saying what she does.
Can I tell you, I meet people after years. Literally, this happened like a week ago. Someone, I think I went to go see Naomi at Mickey's in WeHo, and someone goes over like, she's like, Monét, like Monét X Change. I was like, girl, I've known you for
that's
7 years now.
That's dumb. That is a them problem.
Wait, so I was asking you earlier, about your production company and why you did it, and you were interrupted you.
Oh, right. No, I literally, like, our conversations always go like this.
I know, which is great. I think it's our mind just playing, do whatever they want.
It's true. I hope anyone can keep up while listening. But yes, so I started my production company because so it was basically before season 6, I was, like, writing, directing, producing shows in Seattle, like big full cast sort of extravaganzas, very similar to what I do with Jinx on the larger scale now. And I was doing, my own solo shows, which are, complex and layered, and like I'll have a lot of production elements. And after going on season 6, it was really like there was there was kind of a plug and play pattern for queens at that point. It was like, make an album, do these bar tours, do whatever. And I was like, I think I have a thing to offer that I think would hit if we got it out there, but kind of nobody understood what to do with it because it wasn't what other queens were doing. And so I think people were like, well, we don't know how to market this, we don't whatever. And and finally I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll do it, So it was just, I basically started the production company. I realized that I had the friends and resources in the business who knew how to do it. And I was like, well, let's test it and see if it works. And it did.
I mean, you are the queen of the one-person shows. I mean, I've told you, obviously, I know this. We're going to get into it. It's just like the way that your mind thinks about how these shows run and operate. When your first one Terminally Delightful?
It was, yeah.
And then so from that, you obviously did you do it at Beachman? Was that where you did?
So Terminally Delightful actually started. It was before Drag Race.
Oh,
it was a good friend who's a theater professor who was actually Jinx's theater professor. I didn't have her, but she runs that was such a weird backstory. It was like, that is not, do you care about that? Whatever. Anyway, this woman ran a solo performance festival and I had only done like numbers, but she had seen me and she was like, I think you should do longer form work. And I was like terrified. I did like a 25-minute version of something that then she helped me develop into an hour-long show that was the first version of Terminally Delightful that I just did at a theater called the Jewel Box Theater in Seattle. It wasn't very good, but it was like had the elements, And then after Drag Race, I kind of took it, revamped it, used what I'd learned, and did it at the Beachman, and it was a much better show.
I mean, girl, it was your first one. Give yourself a break.
Well, that is the other thing too. I'm like, a lot of the girls on Drag Race, it's like perfect what you do before what you want to do after Drag Race, or maybe don't perfect it, but at least work on your stuff before Drag Race. Don't go out with this huge platform and like try something for the first time.
Yeah, bro,
It's like
you want to see it. People see. Although I did do my first one-woman show, Call Me by Monet, after Drag Race, and that was. It wasn't a. It wasn't a great show.
But you had a lot of experience that like lent itself to what you were doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I hosted a lot in New York City and I did numbers and I had some videos, blah, 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 but looking back at it, I'm like, oh God. No.
Terminally Delightful was bizarrely experimental. It was very meta and it was very like a weird, essentially the plot in my mind was Dela kind of having to grapple with the fact that she was a character.
Ooh, that's deep.
I know. And I actually, I know. And it was like sort of effective, but I actually, between you and me, I'm working on a new solo show that revisits all those ideas.
Word.
So I'm actually like going back to those themes, but with everything I know now about creating work. So
see, I think why you're one of my favorite artists is because I love how you like. It's like someone will have done that show and be like, okay, I'm done, I'm moving on. But to have the brain space and the artistic power to be like, oh, I can take this thing from what season 6 or 10, 11?
11 years
11 years ago, 12 years ago, and go back and I'm going to revisit. Like, I personally enjoy going, I love it. I love to see shows like that. It makes me, because my brain's like, oh my God, I can't believe, so I can't wait to see that whenever she's ready for the world to see her.
We will see. This is actually one of the first ones that I'm actually working on. Usually my MO is come up with a show title, take a photograph, write a quick description.
Which is insane.
Put tickets on sale.
Insane.
And then start writing.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, but I work so
works.
well under pressure. I've always been really bad at just writing something with like kind of just, well, it'll be done and then I'll, but I have enough other projects happening right now that I'm like, oh, I'm getting better at being a disciplined writer because I'm doing it so much more. So anyway, this is the first solo show that I'm actually creating without an actual premiere date yet.
Work. Well, also you're a fine artist, right? That's how you started. You went to school. So how do you go make this transition from fine art to what is it, theater?
Well,
I guess you call it.
Actually, one of the things I'm thinking about a lot with this show is that all of my performance work came from just a love of the traditions of drag, right? Like seeing Coco Prove, Arla Jean Merman, these queens who do solo shows, and just really like Charles Bush's plays and films, seeing these queens who really have this like specific type of storytelling that feels linked to a queer legacy. And it's not so much like about like theater, it's like a very distinct queer camp style of storytelling. So like that is something I have loved since I first encountered it at 18. And then when I went to school for, my portfolio was in sculpture and painting, but I really found performance art, and I love the process and concepts behind performance art, which in my education was very much about like, what are the ideas and moods you want to communicate, and then how do you get someone to identify with those, rather than coming from like, I have no formal theater training, and that used to freak me out, but I think that actually I realized I think it's really useful because it means I'm telling stories really differently. And so with this, I sort of, a lot of, especially the Jinx and Dale holiday show has moved more and more towards like a theater direction. And with this solo show, I'm really going back to, this is like an experimental exploration of themes, and that winds up looking really narrative because that's just how my brain works. But that's the link,
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
It's very convoluted.
but
it's also like the heady way that I think about all this stuff. Like, that's fine art school, right? Like, I am constantly talking about the dumbest shit. Like, it is like this intellectual, like, ivory tower, but that's art school talking.
I also just love what I found out about this story, because this year I went to go see the Jinx and Dale holiday show. Last year I couldn't go because I was in Iceland when it happened, but I got to see this year. It's my second time seeing it. I saw it 2 years ago. But I just think the growth, I think it speaks to the power and the brilliance of you and Jinx together, but obviously how, like, not resilience is the wrong word, but just like taking your thing and just like working at it, and it will, if you just trust the process, it will become bigger and better and fiercer and beautifuler. I'm gonna make it a word. Can you? Because this year I saw it at the fucking Dolby Theater.
Second year, baby.
At the Dolby Theater that is a huge theater. It's where they do a lot of the award shows, like the
Academy Awards.
The Academy Awards. It is a big, beautiful theater. You and Jinx are doing y'all's holiday show there. Can you please tell people where it started out and now where it is today?
Oh, yeah. So the first year of the holiday show was in 2018, and I had done a holiday show for a decade that was local to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
It's time to wrap that one up, and I was talking to Gus and Kevin, who are my co-producers on this. The three of us produced this show. And Jinx and I had actually cast her in a lot of my holiday shows in like sort of smaller roles when she was sort of an up and coming queen. And then when we were each on Drag Race, we hosted each other's seasons, like viewing parties in Seattle. And people were so into our chemistry when we were, Jinx still drank then, and we would just like sit on stage and like slurp martinis and just bullshit about the show. And Gus was like, people would be really into this if you toured something like this, and you have the holidays free now. Let's try it. We did 8 cities. The rooms were maybe like 100 and 150 people.
100 to 150 people.
It was like an experiment, and the intention was really like, well, we'll go in with a loose concept. We'll sing some songs. We'll sit on stage. We'll bullshit. And of course, like, by the time it made it to the stage, it was a fully scripted narrative. And yeah, so the response was so good that the next year it grew exponentially, a lot more cities, bigger venues. And then the pandemic happened. We were only 2 years into this tour when the pandemic happened. Okay. I know. Is that right? Yeah, 2018, 2019. Yeah. And
2020.
2020, because we're 20. Yes, that is how math works. So,
but that's when the Hulu one came out.
Yes. So we were like, what do? We don't want to lose our momentum. And we kind of talked about, all right, well, do we do a stage show and like with no audience and like live stream it? Like, what are we going to do? And that's kind of where the idea started. And then and again, I feel like this is sort of art school talking where I'm like, no, live theater is live theater. That's the form. If I'm putting it on camera, it's going to be a movie. And so it was crazy because we like did it in COVID. None of us had made a film before. My friend Brian Benson, who is a film professor in San Francisco, came on as my assistant director, and thank God for him. He really like helped.
First AD, honey.
Yeah. But it turned out, and we just did it. It was like, I did it with my money. We like put it up. I painted that set like with other people, but literally it was like 3 a.m. and the producers were like, we were all with rollers painting the floor pink because it was just a black box theater in Seattle that was available because of the pandemic. And yeah, so it was really like a bunch of people who just wanted to make the work. They banded together. We made it happen. We're just going to put it up on Vimeo. And honestly, I was like, this is going to lose a ton of money, but it's just what we got to do right now. And we had released it, and then somebody from Hulu called. So this was not made for Hulu. This was just a project.
Oh, I thought Hulu hit y'all up and like, we need to.
No, I literally put my own money into it, made this thing happen. We all banded together and did it, learned how to make a movie, and released it on our own, and just ready to have it be like, maybe a few hundred people will see it.
Shit.
And then Hulu called, and
you're like, delete on Vimeo.
It was wild. Like, I was so... Nothing like that had ever happened.
So cool.
And apparently it's not something that happens very often. So it was really... So point being that...
So that was essentially the third year. 2020 was the third year.
So the pandemic happened. We thought it would tank us. We did this thing instead. And when 2021 rolled around... so many more people had access to what the Jinx and Dale holiday show was because of that we suddenly were like, had these huge venues, all these people buying tickets. It was the pandemic actually boosted that brand.
Work.
Yeah, it was wild.
Fierce.
I know.
See, y'all, again, a story of just sticking to your shit and doing your shit, like from going from crowds of 100 to 150 people to the Dolby seats, how many? 4,000?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
I remember I was sitting right there in the orchestra, and I looked up and I was like, all in those beautiful cascading seats at the Dolby Theater, they're all filled and people screaming and cheering. It was just so magnificent to watch and see. So beautiful.
It's really special, and it's a special thing. And, you know, and speaking to what you're talking about, I really, the most successful projects of mine are the ones where it's just, this is the thing I want to make. The things that never really work are the things where I feel like this is what somebody wants from me.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do, or this is how success will happen.
Yeah.
Very rarely leads anywhere. The things that make money are the things you make without that in mind, you know?
AKA drag.
Yeah.
Drag. And then so you just directed Jinx Your Show at Carnegie Hall, which is a Valentine's show. So you have the Christmas show, the Valentine's Day show. And then you're doing your Easter. Wait, first of all, talk about Carnegie Hall first.
Oh, it was wild. It was really, I mean, it was crazy. Obviously, it was very exciting. I mean, Jinx told me about the Carnegie gig, like, it was like, God, I feel like it was like 2 years ago or something, far before it was, because we were in Scotland or something. Anyway, and she asked me to direct, and I said only if I can co-write, and yeah, it was such an overwhelming thing. I'd never worked with. We had an incredible music director, Will Van Dyke, who is somebody that she had worked with on Little Shop of Horrors. And you know, we worked with an orchestra, and he was incredible to work with. I've never worked with live musicians before. And he was so amazing about guiding that. But it was nerve-wracking because it was a totally new format, but ultimately it wound up being in many ways very similar to working on your solo show in that, but like a little different. Yeah. It was like, basically, Jinx I was like, talk about things you care about for like months. I took 70 pages of notes on her just talking, and then I made a script from those notes.
Word.
And so it wound up being, it was like very much about what she cares about, themes that are important to her. And I feel like your show really helped warm me up for that because it was really me going in and being like, how can I help you tease out what you care about?
Yeah.
And it turns out I love doing that for other people.
Okay, so I get asked to do the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and I was like, yes, I'll do it. They was like, just come do stand-up. I was like, I would have been doing stand-up for like a year and a half at that point. I was like, no, I want to do something else. I want to do like a one-woman show. So as soon as I set forth that idea, I was like, you know what, I'm going to hit up Dela, because I've seen your shows, and I just, the way, again, every show, at the end of the show, I'm just always sitting there, my mouth open, like, oh my God, that was so brilliant. How did we get here? It was so good. So then I hit you up, we go out for lunch, and I was like, I would just love to pick your brain about your process, how you work, and you give me some tips and tricks. And then a few days later, you were like, hey, how about I come on and actually help you this thing? I was like, you're so busy. I'm busy. You're Monet, I want to be a part of this process. I love you. You're fierce. Let's just do it together. And the way that you were able to I would do a whole, you were like, okay, write about all this stuff. I write about it. And then I'll write like 4 or 5 pages. And then you'll take like just one paragraph. You're like, tell me more about this. And then I would go and write it. Right. So the way you're so able to help an artist like funnel their ideas into a thing, into this, and before we know, we had this fucking story. I don't know how we even did it.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really cool to tease it out.
At my apartment here in LA, we're just sitting there and getting food. I loved every ounce of that creative process with you.
It was amazing for me too. Like, it was amazing. Like, first of all, you're incredible to work with because you work really hard. You are super driven, and you're like a brave artist. Like, within that, like, we went into some like real shit.
Yes.
Like, we dug into your past. We dug into like hard themes, some insecurities, and you fucking went for it, and that made my job much easier. And it was, and yeah, I mean, from an outside perspective, it's when I'm working on my own work, it's like really stepping back and seeing what it is like, oh God, how? But with working with somebody else, I'm like, I have less of an attachment, so I'm like, oh, I can see all the themes and through lines here.
Yes.
And then help you tease them out. And it was, and it was different with Jinx. Like, your show is primarily your text. Like, I wrote a few bits, but whereas Jinx's was my text, probably most of it was my text, but it was all based on her writing and me pulling like those themes and concepts and some of the language,
Got it, yeah.
But that's cool too, is that like knowing that with every artist, it's always like the way they work, the way their brains work is always going to be different. And so like figuring out like how to work with those individuals, I want to do a lot more of it. I really like it.
I feel like the Mike Birbiglia all they y'all need to be hitting up BenDeLaCreme. Like, that's y'all need to be hitting up. It's so good. And then now you're bringing back your Easter Mass show.
Yeah,
Easter Mass. So Christmas, Valentine's Day, Easter. Are y'all gonna do MLK next? Are you gonna do the Jinx and Dela Juneteenth Jamboree?
No, it's just gonna be Dela's. Oh my God, it's gonna be a solo show.
Tell us about Easter Mass.
What could go wrong? Yeah, so the Easter Mass thing, I mean, holidays are always just, they're easy targets for like themes because, it's a universal thing that we all sort of have some sort of attachment to, but they're also all fraught. Like like Christmas and Easter are the two big Christian ones that I have a lot of feelings around, And so, yeah, the Easter thing, you know, and it's similar to what I was talking to before, where I really always feel like the form should be informed by the content.
Yeah.
It's like the holiday show was very much went in like, okay, these holiday variety TV specials, Judy Garland Christmas special, all of that. Like that was like a foundation for like why that format was that. But with the Easter show, I was like, I want this to function like a church service. I want it to be an hour-long thing where I am a preacher. There is a choir. We only do it on Easter Sunday. It will not extend beyond that. So there's like a mass. There's, you know, we have two services, right? And my, you know, last year I threw the thing together in 2 weeks because I like woke up, had the idea, and I was like, we need to do this. And so we just like threw it up at El Cid. You know, it was like 70 seats maybe. But again, I'm like, this is an idea. I feel so passionately about it. Let's just build it from the ground up. So this year we're doing it at Precinct. Still, you know, fairly small audience. We're doing 2 shows, but my intention is to just keep growing this thing. I want it to be Righteous Gemstones level at some point, right? But I like the idea that it is still only an Easter thing. I want it to feel like the queerest, weirdest mass in the whole world, where it's like, you know, it's like everything is like a mashup of like, you know, the choir is dressed like Marshmallow Peeps and like, right. And like we have Jesus as a guest speaker played by Drew Droege, who is so hilarious. And, you know, it's like all sort of a mashup of like the weird Catholic imagery and just like the Cadbury's imagery, because I think that those two things are very funny bumped up against each other.
I think I could, if you were, I would be down to play a Cadbury egg. If you
Ooh.
I want a Cadbury egg.
All right.
Well, but like the ones that are like in like the bottom of your grandmother's purse are like a little dusty on top of them. I'll put a little dust in my head. One of those Cadbury eggs.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of like how we accomplish the like gooey yellow.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it is Precinct. Have you ever been to one of Meatball's Fat Slut shows?
Oh my God.
Because that is some real inspiration for how to pull off something like that.
I went to one. I was a guest. I was a judge on it. I agreed to be a judge on this fucking show, and I didn't know. It was my first. I had heard about Fat Slut. I'd never been. It's a lot. Like I'm on stage. There's like a clear gelatin with hot dogs and shrimp inside of it.
And she makes all those.
That's disgusting.
Every month says, okay, Fat Slut is my favorite night out in Los Angeles. I am not joking. It is the only party that I am like, anytime I can make it, I will. Meatball also is one of my favorite drag queens in the world. I am obsessed with Meatball. I will follow her to the ends of the earth.
She's like, which also congrats to her. She's doing Fat Slut in I think Tokyo. There's book to do it in Tokyo, which good big ups to her.
She's a good business lady, but again, it comes from that thing where it's like everything is led by like something she really cares about. You know?
Yeah, and she likes being a sloppy second. And she likes being a fat slut.
She loves it.
One of my favorite things is that episode of Sloppy Seconds where Dipper mentions hooking up, and then your reaction, you go, oh. Your reaction to his storytelling about the thing is
the thing. Don't bring it up.
I'm not.
Yes, you just did.
But it was just like the visceral reaction you had. It really speaks to how great of a person you are, because you were immediately. I was like, no. You're like, no, that's not good. It was very charming, because I know that you were like probably gonna jump out of your skin when you heard that.
But the thing is that I do genuinely, like, I have known Dipper for a very long time, and I love Dipper so much, and I like that moment sort of like became a whole different moment, and I just really like wanted to. I was like, Big Dipper is good people.
He is a great man.
I did not we did not see eye to eye on that issue. He saw the error of his ways because people came for him. But honestly, Dipper works so hard to like support the community. He has such incredible values and ethics. He is one of the people who started Drag Pack so that we could all just like step in and essentially be figureheads. But like he did so much of the foundational work to make that happen. And like that really speaks to who he is. I love him.
Yeah. But Drag Pack has been amazing. I was supposed to do a thing on on Joy Reid's show, but they canceled her show.
We were both supposed to do it.
Yeah,
I know.
And then, which one day I was supposed to do. I was queued up everything it was going to be a Zoom thing, and then like there was like breaking news out of somewhere, so we didn't get to do it. And then like, oh, we're gonna get to do it again, but now it's all canceled.
Well, I thought I was for a second I was gonna get to be on the floor with her at the DNC, which would have been incredible. But you know, turned out there was some other stuff going on.
Dayla, this has been, I can't believe I got to talk to you today.
I actually am like, I've been sitting here like, oh, it's going to end soon.
I know.
It.
This has been, because I could just talk to you about all this stuff for hours. It's just so great to talk to you and chat with you.
Can we make it like a 4-part episode?
Oh my gosh, should we?
Yeah.
It'll be like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Or the Lord of the Rings. That's what I meant to say, but I said Game of Thrones.
I don't know.
Do you watch those? I couldn't get into either.
I've never. Lord of the Rings, I like saw all of them in the theater whenever those came out, you know, but I never knew what was going on. And Game of Thrones, I watched the first episode and I was like, I can't handle the way women are being treated in this. Like that was honestly just, I was like,
really?
Yeah.
See, now I feel like an asshole. That wasn't going to be. I thought I was going to be like, I can't get into it. But you have a more.
That was why I couldn't get into it. I was like, I don't even care where this goes next. Like, this is gratuitous and makes me sad. That was how I felt about it.
Taylor, I just love you so much.
I love you so much. Yeah. Oh wait, my microphone.
It's okay. Fuck the microphone. You're just so great to talk to. Thank you for being here.
I adore you. I am happy that we've been getting to do more stuff lately, and I hope that it continues.
And please make me a Cadbury. I want to be a chocolate Cadbury egg.
Okay.
With a yellowish creamy inside.
We will consult Meatball on how to most effectively make that cream filling happen. It's gonna be gross.
Oh, I want it to be gross. You know, I think we can we're in LA. We can get some visual FX person just like make a skin colored something on me here, and we crack it open and just like the ooze pours out of me.
Oh yeah, it'll be like a Cronenberg film.
Yeah, what's Cronenberg?
Oh my wow. Okay, we got it. Let's wrap this up.
Big shout out to thank you to BenDeLaCreme for being here today, and thank you all for watching another episode of Monet Talks. Y'all, this is a treat.
This is a treat for me.
Y'all got so much information in this last hour. You're welcome, and we will be billing all of you. Thank you so much.